Oh, hello. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Warhammer World Open Day, which was today, the 5th of March. It's happening again tomorrow on the 6th of March. So if you're watching this as it goes up and you're going to the event tomorrow and you don't want to be spoiled, then close the video now. I'm also going to talk about the Chaos Kill Team accessory sprue or upgrade sprue, as that was available to look at, and I was very kindly allowed to take photographs of it as well. So that is coming up soon. So what was at the Warhammer World 25th anniversary event? So we got the studio area, participation games, the paint and take, the build and take, and there was some loot. We got a goodie bag and also the opportunity to buy some exclusive bits and pieces. And then of course the Warhammer World exhibition itself. I am going to talk about each of these things in turn, starting with what is probably the most interesting thing for people who are watching this video on what is certainly predominantly a kill team channel. So this is the sprue that is coming with the Chaos Kill Team in the Nachman box set. So alongside the sprues that are currently available on the Games Workshop website, because they're the standard Chaos Space Marine box, you're getting this extra sprue. I've not seen this anywhere else. I did, while I was in Bugman's, link this sprue into Glass Half Dead's Discord, because I wanted the wider community to be able to see it. I'm not going to keep things to myself just so I can make a video. But as nothing has appeared, and this is my speculation, is it possible that people who have got big YouTube channels have maybe got their early copy and therefore are in their window where they're not allowed to talk about it, whereas the little minnows like me who haven't got any kind of NDA, although totally willing to sign that, Games Workshop, if you're watching, are now able to talk about bits and pieces that we found out. So this is, I guess, a leak, although I went to Warhammer World and I asked the guy, can I photograph this sprue? And he said, yes, photograph it. And then I photographed it, and then he even said, don't photograph it on top of your program, you won't be able to see what's going on, photograph it on this black tablecloth. So it's a leak that they totally consented to, I guess, is what I'm going to say. It's one sprue. I've just taken the picture of the front and back because I know people will be interested. I don't think there are any big surprises on this sprue. There are 3, 4, 5 heads. So I think there's possibly an extra head that we haven't seen. Other than that, I can see the parts. This will be part of the Reaper chain cannon here. Obviously goes with the main Reaper chain cannon here. We've got the power sword that we've seen on the new aspiring champion. What else have we got? You know, we've got all the parts basically. There's another part of the Reaper chainsaw. We've got arms. Oh, there's another head down here. We've got the weapons for the things that we know about. I think basically what I'm saying is there's nothing you haven't seen except perhaps a head. I think there might be, because there's what, 3, 4, 5, 6 heads. There might be an extra head that you haven't seen, but then I am not enough of an expert in Chaos Space Marines to be able to tell you which heads are even in. I've not built the current Chaos Space Marines sprue, never mind the kill team. But yeah, I'm sure this is going to be a lot of interest for people who are looking forward to playing that team and assembling it and want to see those options. So here it is for you to have a look at. I'm sure you can pause the video and stare at the sprue to your heart's content. If you want to pop onto my Discord, I've linked the image in its full resolution as well, if that's helpful to you. So also at the event, there were some participation games. We had to go at one that was actually Mega Gargant Football. Mrs. Tails of Impulse won, and she got this really nice certificate, which they totally didn't have to do. Now, these games are really interesting because they were kind of in the vein of the old Games Day games. If you are old, like me, and you went to Games Day as a child, especially back when it was in the Birmingham National... the really old Games Day, not the National Indoor Arena. Was it the National Indoor? I think it was the National Indoor Arena it was called. Yeah. Now this is, I'm going back a bit now to when I was a teenager going on the coach from my local Games Workshop to Games Day. And they used to have, it wasn't like a tournament at all. The idea of having a tournament at Games Day in the UK, or at Warhammer Fest as it's now called, is largely this. It's come over from America, where if you have a big convention, you have tournaments and competitive games. They always used to have these really funny, like the different store managers would cook up funny games. I remember vividly one games day, there was a game where you were controlling a tank, right, in a massive Al-Alamein style tank battle, and then as your tank got hit by the enemies, you had to first you had to put on these plastic gloves to roll your dice, so you couldn't really roll the dice. And if you got hit some more, you had to put on goggles, and the goggles were all blacked out, so you could only see little lines of what was going on. And the guys running up were shouting at you like, "Your tank is filling with smoke! Put on your goggles! Put on your goggles!" It was, there's silly things like that. So this today, this was a Blood Bowl game, but it was 3 giants chasing around after a squig. It was obviously just some rules that have been made up, but it was really fun. It was a fun little game. There were other games on offer as well. There was a 40k thing with Titans and a big convoy. There was some Aeronautica Imperialis that I wanted to play, but I couldn't get near it. And there were some other things like this chariot racing as well. So loads of really fun little niche games that I was really pleased to play. There was the paint and take. Now, I didn't actually do the paint and take. I know exactly what it is. If you go into any Games Workshop, you can do the paint and take as long as you look like you're new. You basically get a free model. You either get this Primaris guy or you get the single sprue Vindicator guy. So we didn't bother with this one. I run a club at school, which is registered with Games Workshop, and they send me these sprues, these 2 sprues, to basically give away to the kids as well. So I've seen a lot of these. I helped a lot of kids build them at the time. I just wasn't that excited to build a Space Marine or a Celestial Vindicator, but it was there on offer, and you could totally sit and paint and build one. That was pretty cool. What I think was much cooler was the build and take. So sometimes it's called Scrap Demon. They've kind of dropped the competition part of it. Basically, you sit down at a table, and they've got piles of sprues, just piles and piles and piles, and there's a guy with his stopwatch on his phone, and he sets a time for half an hour, and you get half an hour just to build whatever you want, and whatever you have stuck to your model at the end, you can take away and keep. Now, I've done this before, and I've been quite mercenary with it, and I've built like a whole rhino, because I could basically find most of a rhino there. But I really tried to embrace the spirit of it this time, and make something really interesting and cool, and a bit kind of Blanchitsu adjacent maybe with what was there. So they had loads of Chaos Warriors. So the bottom of this guy is a Chaos Warrior, and then he's just got bits. His head is from some Adeptus Mechanicus, the Skitarii guys, and I think the little thing on his shoulder, the little lantern, is from a Skitarii sprue. There's purity seals all over the show from a Grey Knight sprue that I found, and a Librarian sprue that was there as well. He's got the little inquisitorial symbol of his chain in the middle that was off a Grey Knight, and the little bit of kind of rotting body on the floor there that was covering up a hole in the base, because I think the base was originally from a push fit guy from Indominus, right? The little screwed up body on the hole is from some kind of undead, I think the zombies maybe, or ghouls sprue. I don't know what he is. Maybe he's an Inquisitor, maybe he's an Inquisitorial Acolyte. Is he Imperial? Is he Chaos? Has he strayed too far from the Emperor's Light? Who knows? I think he looks really cool though. I was really impressed, and he was a freebie. Half an hour to kit match something. Yeah, that was really cool. Loot. So you can get these at any store anniversary. Basically, available to purchase were the 2 event exclusive miniatures. You've seen these on the web store, and I want to say they had like hundreds of these, because it's Warhammer World, where they're next to the factory where they make them. And I've heard of stores where people go to their local Games Workshop to get the models, and they have like 5, and then they have to order them, and they do order them and they get them delivered. But by going to the Warhammer World one, they had like absolutely billions of them. So we bought 3 of the Inquisitors between us, 1 for me, 1 for Mrs. T.I., and 1 that is for Zimbab, who couldn't come with us today, but obviously going to see him on Monday, and he wanted an Inquisitor as well, so that's for him. None of us like, I quite like Age of Sigmar. We all quite like Age of Sigmar, but none of us really like Cruel Boys, so we didn't buy any of the Cruel Boy, unfortunately. They also had the previous set, the Necron and the, was it a Stormcast? But yeah, but anyway, but the Inquisitor was really cool. Also managed to get up to the £200 threshold between us buying bits and pieces. I mean, the 3 event exclusive miniatures were 60 quid by themselves, and then we didn't want to buy a whole load of Warhammer. We're in the process of moving house. We don't need to buy a load of stuff, but they had the merchandise store. So my son is obsessed with orcs. Like, he doesn't really like Warhammer that much, but he loves orcs. So I got him one of the McFarlane orcs, the pre-coloured in ones, and that was like 50 quid. But that's a gift for him. Mrs. T.I. got one of the McFarlane Gene Stealers, one of the ones that you paint up yourself, and that was like another 30 quid. We picked up a couple of the candles that are kind of funny, you know, and something else. I think Mrs. Tableton Pimple's got a notebook with a star on the front, you know. But having those bits there, like having the merch store, makes it so much easier to get up to the £200 threshold to get all the loot. And the loot itself's pretty... I don't like the pin badges because it's a Space Wolf and a Stormcast, but Mrs. Tabletop Impulse likes those, so that's good. The travel mug's really useful for me because I'm a teacher and we have this rule in schools now, at least most of the time, you're supposed to drink out of a mug that has a lid for health and safety. I spend a lot of time drinking out of a mug without a lid, to be fair, because I'm a maverick. But I do have a travel mug that I use sometimes, and this is cooler than that one because it has a Warhammer logo on, and that makes things much cooler. So that's cool. The 2 little dice I didn't really rate. You can't really get them out the tin, and they are too shiny. They'll clearly get all mashed up if you've used them a little bit, but Mrs. Tableton Impulse likes those and wants them on her shelf on display, so that's cool. And I've got the little shoulder bag, which I think will make an excellent tournament bag for this Kill Team tournament that's next weekend. You know, because you can get a little set of tokens and stuff in there, the Kill Team rulebook, you know, a little miniatures case. It'd be great for Kill Team tournaments, it'd be great for Underworlds tournaments, it'd be great for Warcry or potentially Aeronautica. Any of those games that aren't the 2 big army games, I think it's a really cool little tournament bag. You know, I wouldn't necessarily want to walk around with a Warhammer bag all the time, but for Warhammer tournaments, yeah, great little bag for your rules and stuff. So good. And it's got these cool patches down here. Why is the pen doing that? Never mind. It's got these cool patches down here. So you can have one of these 5 patches. It's really interesting to me that they picked the Cruel Boys of the Stormcast, and then the Space Marines, the Necrons, and the Sisters of Battle logo. But that's really cool because I bring a Sisters kill team, so I put the Sisters patch on mine for next weekend. That's amazing. I don't want to get into it particularly for more than a minute, but it's really interesting to me that they're not really using the Imperial Aquila, the eagle, the double-headed eagle anymore. Like, the Space Marine logo here is like a Primaris helmet. Is that because the 2-headed eagle looks kind of fascist adjacent? I mean, it is because they took it from the same source material, i.e. ancient Rome. So have they now basically decided to cede that? Like, I personally think that's sad that Games Workshop has ceded their one of their most famous icons to a group of horrible people as a thing. I think, but you know, as I say, I don't want to get into politics because it makes channels strange. But I just think it's interesting as an observation that GW seems to have abandoned putting the eagle onto everything it owns, which is cool. I have anecdotally been told by a friend of mine who works in a capacity in the police force and whose job has involved monitoring online groups that horrible people do like to co-opt Games Workshop imagery from time to time. So maybe it's doing that, but that's just an interesting side note. Let's move quickly on. We got freebies, right? We got a goodie bag, and you know, anything free from Games Workshop. I don't know why my pen is absolutely going nuts. Please ignore the green squiggle. Oh, such professionalism. Someone said in a comment they love my editing, and I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad you think there's editing. There is no editing. There's just this. We'll just keep going. This was all free. Now, as you can see from what's on the screen, this is mostly stuff that they have had as giveaways before now. A couple of things I want to talk about. I was really pleased to see so much Kill Team stuff. So we both got, me and Mrs. Tabletop Impulse, a second packet each of the Kill Team sleeves, which was fantastic, because I don't know if you remember these. You got these when you pre-ordered Octarius, right, from your local store. And we got one pack between us with 20 sleeves in. And there are 27 sleeves in a Kill Team Tactical Objectives deck. So they went to the bottom of the drawer, but now we found them because now between us we have 3 packs of sleeves, which means we can both sleeve our 27 card decks with the nice. And they're actually quite nice sleeves. Like, I've played Magic the Gathering and I've played Pokemon cards before at different times, and Warhammer Champions and various other things. And these are actually, they're not brilliant sleeves, like they're not like the absolute top tier back to this, that and the other, but they're not awful and cheap sleeves like some of the Underworld sleeves when Underworld first came out have been. They're actually quite nice feeling sleeves. They feel pretty sturdy, pretty resilient. I'm not going to go full, what's the fella's called, Tolarian tutor and get my fingers in and try and pull the sleeves apart, but they feel quite nice. They're quite nice sleeves, so that's good. A set of postcards, I've already got one of those, but it might have got lost when I moved house, so now I've got a backup set, which is good. Another set of the dog tags, I've put those on the zip of my new bag, so that's cool. So many of these badges, like, I swear whoever packed my goodie bag just threw a handful of these things in. I'm going to take these to work, and I'm going to use them to give to the kids who come to Warhammer Club if they want a badge. Kids love badges, you know. This thing is apparently a Warhammer 40k deck box. When I get round to unpacking the 40k stuff, again, I've just moved house, I want to see, does this fit the decks of cards in their deck boxes, so you can like archive like your Space Marine cards and Sisters cards and all these cards in the box, or do you have to take the cards out of the box to put them in the box? We'll see how useful that is. These are acrylic tokens for Warhammer Underworlds. I have not played Warhammer Underworlds in a long time. I keep thinking about getting back into it, because I keep hearing like, oh, it's much better now, you know, you don't have to worry so much about card cycling, you don't have to buy every single set because there's other ways to play, but I'm not an expert, but basically my focus, like, I love 40k, I love Age of Sigmar because I love hobby, and therefore I love owning lots of miniatures, and those are the games that let me own lots of miniatures. But in terms of what I actually want to sit down with friends and play, it's all the smaller games that don't require me to find somewhere with a massive table, because I've never lived in somewhere, even this new house, we don't really have space for a massive 40k table. Kill Team, yeah, Philly Boots, Aeronautica Imperialis, Philly Boots, you know, Shadespire, all these great games, Warcry, but not really the full-size mass battle games, but we will see, we will see. I got this thing, Age of Sigmar War Scroll folder thingy. I don't know how useful that is. I think probably have more War Scrolls than will fit in the folder. Slash, haven't they kind of moved away from the format of War Scrolls where they're dead big? I don't know. My War Scrolls are upstairs in a box. When I find them, I will try and see if that's a useful thing. And we got 4 art prints, which, that's really cool. I don't like this one because I don't like Khorne, and neither does Mrs. Tabletop Impulse. I don't like this one because I don't really like Space Wolves, and neither does Mrs. Tabletop Impulse. And I don't like this one because I don't like Stormcast, and Mrs. Tabletop Impulse does. I thought she might like that one, but she doesn't want it. This one's really cool, but it's already hanging up in our hallway because that's kind of the relationship we have in this house with anything Games Workshop makes that we both like. We buy it. So we got like 2 sets of those art prints. I guess I might see if Zimbad wants some art prints. Otherwise, I could try and give them away to kids. But again, they're really nice art prints. And is a kid just going to fold it up, put it in his bag, go, ooh, and then it's not going to get framed up. So I don't know. Yeah. Oh, and almost forgot, right, you're at Warhammer World, so you can do all the Warhammer World stuff. You can do the exhibition, which normally costs about £7.50 or something to go in, just by itself. I can't possibly do like a guided tour of the whole exhibition. These are just pictures from the Tanks on Parade archive like exhibit that they're doing at the moment for like this year. They were doing dragons last year, and now they've replaced it with tanks. I love tanks. Tanks are great. I love looking at these, which are the original kind of Rhino variants converted by Tony Cottrell, who at least was, don't know if still is, the head of Forge World now, right? And I love this Vindicator. Mr. Tails points at it and goes, it's really crap. And I'm like, yeah, but he basically invented the idea of what a Vindicator should look like, right? And then people who are actually better at making models went and actually made a good one. It's fair enough, but the concept is there. And I just think it's really good. I was disappointed we got the article here about the deodorant bottle tank. But no deodorant bottle tank, which is, yeah. I am old enough to remember this packaging. And I miss it. It was cool. But I'm not old enough to remember this packaging. And what happened in the 90s that we thought that this really cool packaging from the Rogue Trader era needed to be replaced with this, which is nostalgic to me, but objectively, isn't this art so much cooler? And then we went from, nah, let's not have art, let's take a picture of the tank. I don't know, that is awesome, but before my time. That is nostalgic. I mean, all the packaging's nostalgic. I remember that set of packaging, that's also nostalgic. That set of packaging, from the sort of third ed packaging, is also really cool. While I'm going on packaging, I just think the boxes were cooler back then than they are now. I don't know, in different ways. Right, rambling. So, time to finish it off. Here are some pictures of myself and Mrs. Table Tables in front of various things. This is a massive plushie, that's amazing. It was £10. It was £10 to go, and we got a goodie bag. I mean, granted, the goodie bag was full of like leftover promotional items, but it was still something I didn't have to do. I could probably sell the things from the goodie bag on eBay and make back most of the £10, right? And you got free exhibition entry like rolled into your £10, which if you just turn up on a random day, you have to spend like £7 or something to go into the exhibition. Like £7.50 is the price in my head, but I've not looked it up before I started recording the video because that sounds too much like hard work, right? We're back in Nottingham next weekend for the Kill Team event, the 3-day event. So we'll be there Friday night in the Travel Lodge, Nottingham Riverside Travel Lodge. Myself, Mrs. Tabletables, Zimbad, and there's possibly going to be one guy that used to be in our Discord who's going to be there as well. If you're around and you see me, this is me. Yeah, there you are. Say hello. That would be really fun if somebody actually recognised me and said hello. I'll probably be wearing the same jacket and the same shoes and the same trousers because I'll probably just look exactly like this. Yeah. So you'll be able to recognise me. Good. So say hello. That'd be really rad if somebody would do that. Yeah, and then we'll be in the event over the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and that'd be really awesome as well. Moving house is really hard, so I've missed. Games Workshop have put up loads of Kill Team stuff. I want to talk about the new Kill Team event in I want to say June that they've advertised. That they're doing a Warhammer World tournament, a singleton tournament again. I want to talk about the fact that they've sent me the terrain layouts for the Kill Team weekend event that's coming up, and I can put the terrain layouts up on the screen and the terrain packs because that's amazing. I want to talk about the Chaos Marks. Like, it's old now, right? And you've probably already watched YouTube videos about it, but there's Chaos Marks stuff on Warcom, and there's also stuff about the Corsairs team, and I want to talk about all of it. But this is basically the second day that I've had my computer set up and the internet and everything else, and getting the internet in was a trial, and we had to wait for the OpenReach engineer, and that's OpenReach is like I don't want to get into a whole thing about the privatisation of British Telecom and how that. If you don't live in the UK and you want to know, like, I understand that apparently our telecom system is much better than in America, so, but it still was annoying to wait for. Anyway, don't start a history lesson about telecoms, but there we go. Also, so if I sound differently, number one, I'm in a different room, and I think the room is providing me with a nice echo, bouncing my voice around the walls, and number two, I have a cold. I have a really bad cold, so I've been, again, driving 3 hours there, 3 hours back. I've had a week of hiking around boxes and stuff with a horrible cold as well. So, but there's your video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. Oh, one thing, if you've watched this far, that conversion that I showed you, what's his name? Because I can't decide. What's his name? Does he have is he called like Jeffrey, or is he called like the Destroyer, or Ian the Brown, or I don't know. Like, what is he? If you want to name that guy, then that would be great. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day, whatever you are doing. Cheerio, bye.